All right. Good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. I'm your host, Brandon Troy, host and co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. And thanks you so much for joining us wherever you're watching from. If you had a chance to take a look at the title and you also saw the background, you'll know that we have a terrific guest on tap for you guys. Just to go down the list just slightly of some of the accomplishments of the composer that we will have on the show today. They are a Hollywood Music and Media Award winner, and they are also an executive committee member for the Composers Diversity Collective. As I said in the background, you saw the poster for the invitation. They have brought their musical talents as composer for that film. It is my pleasure to welcome on the show Dara Taylor. Let me bring her on now. Hey, Dara, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Brandon. How are
All
you?
right, awesome, awesome. Well, just to check in quickly, how are you, doing, and how have things, been this year? I know, I'm sure,
Yeah,
this year is probably a blur, perhaps.
yeah. I'm like, what month is it? Yeah, things have been going pretty well this year. Just kind of hopping from project to project, from genre to genre. Um, going from a comedy to a horror to an animated to.
Right, right, right. Cool, cool, cool. Well, I start first because I always have to do this, with each of our guests, and also considering, what our mission is, here with Movers and Shakers is to kind of get a peek for those who may also want to be in that field. So for you, was music something that you had always, saw yourself doing? Maybe, you saw yourself in music, but maybe not specifically in that path of being a composer. So if you'd like to share.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved music. I was a choir and band nerd growing up, and
Yes.
I was in musicals and all that stuff in school, but I wasn't really sure what to do with it. Um, so I actually applied to my undergrad as a computer science major because I'm like, yeah, I love it, but what am I gonna do with it? Because again, most of what I've done was performance based, and I knew I just didn't quite want to be on stage all the time. So it was somewhere in undergrad where I realized that it was kind of a clicking thing. It was like, oh, this is a job that people have. Maybe I should try that. And then kind of once I stuck my claws into it, I just kind of stubbornly held on to that ride ever since.
Awesome, awesome. And hopping right into, well, first, before hopping into imitation, it's always fascinating to know, what advice, folks have um, based on perhaps the experience that they had in their career path to get where they are. And, particularly in entertainment, as I'm sure you know, there's no one set path, but it's still always fascinating to know, what that perspective is for each. So for you, for someone who is, seeking to go that specific, discipline, in the entertainment industry, what would be your advice to them these days? Because I'm sure it would have been different maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I mean, in addition to just, picking a software you love and learning it well and, studying and playing around in different genres, because the landscape of what film music is very broad, and a lot more broad than it was, 20 years ago. So, getting your feet wet in a lot of different disciplines, and a lot of different genres. And then a lot of it is just, getting to know people. And you don't have to come in super well connected. I certainly was not well connected when I started, but just kind of getting to know people, getting to know indie directors, getting to know other composers, because sometimes they don't, they're busy and they can send off recommendations to someone. So just, yeah, kind of infusing yourself into the industry as much as you can, and kind of in an authentic way as well.
Cool, awesome. And now hopping over to invitation, you know, in terms of the setup, it is one that we are, familiar with. However, there is something else at play, which I mean, it is out in theaters now, but I still want to provide people the opportunity to know, the reveals that they have. So, in speaking to that, and the subject matter, can you talk to trying to bring I guess not reverence is perhaps not the best word, but at least bringing your own voice to uh, uh, to a form or a story that is beloved.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of it was finding ways to have this gothic feel to it, which you can't really escape in telling the story matter. But then bringing some weird, strange modern elements and unexpected things, as this is, this telling of the story does have some unexpected moments. So it was doing things like, taking a vocal line and distorting it and reversing it and those sorts of things, like taking things that would be that would be traditional in other cases and finding ways to process them and change them to make them fresh and new. And then again, adding a lot of strange synthetic elements um, and things that speak to the storytelling. So things that sound like kind of ceramic scraping sounds and found sounds and just other oddities.
Absolutely, absolutely, and as I said, this the efforts that you have brought to this film can currently be seen now. But I'd love to know, because you were just talking about it briefly, is being able to navigate through various genres. So are you already, I'm assuming, already at work on the next project, or do you have a slight reprieve or break before you hop on into the next venture after invitation?
No, I am on the next thing.
And are you able to speak further to that, and how it's been transitioning from working on this film now to the upcoming project?
Yeah, I mean the film I'm on right now is a comedy, but and it's fun to kind of jump from one genre to another genre, because I mean in one case, variety is the spice of life, so it's just fun to play in lots of different sandboxes, but at the same time you realize what is so consistent storytelling wise, and the a lot of things that because I worked on an animated film before this as well, and something that animation and horror and comedy all definitely have in common is timing, and how specific timing is in all of those things, and whether or not we want to be preemptive or reactionary and all of that. So just kind of finding the similarities between all of these seemingly disparate genres is fun.
All right. Well, awesome stuff. With that being said, I want to thank you, so much, Dara, for squeezing in some time to, talk about imitation and, briefly talk about imitation and the other projects that you have going. Before I let you go, can you tell folks where they can find you?
Sure. I'm mostly on Instagram at Dara Taylor Music. Also on Twitter, the same place, but I try to avoid Twitter whenever possible. So Instagram's usually the best place. And
Fair
then
enough.
Spotify and all of those music streaming services as well.
All right, cool, 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 cool. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm gonna pull it up here just so you guys. So again, thank you so much for your time, and for the rest of you guys out there, I will see you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.